ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ ब्रह्माश्रया सत्वरजस्तमो गुणात्मिका माया अस्ति. So, Sattva-Rajas Tamo-Gunatmika Brahmashraya Maya Asti, the crucial topic of Maya which we are discussing now. And we have seen that since for creation the Maya only is a responsible factor. In fact, the creation is nothing but when it goes to a potential state, it is called Maya. This creation which is manifest right now is in a potential form is called Maya. That is how it is. And therefore, basically, because Brahman cannot create anything, Brahman cannot become the cause, Brahman cannot be the karyam, and therefore still you see the creation karyam, then you will have to infer there is something else which is responsible for the creation. The cause must be different. If the cause is different from Brahman, then they would have mentioned it. If independent cause would have been there, they would have mentioned. But they did not mention. They say, Sadeva Somedamagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. When the Sat alone was there before this universe this universe before it got created, it was nothing but the Sat. Well, in that case, this Maya or the responsible factor for the creation, the cause of the creation must be non-separate from the Sat. Because if it is independent, they would have mentioned that Sat and Maya together form creation, or Maya has created the thing. They don't say that way. And therefore, Maya must be the non-separate from the Brahman. That is responsible for the creation. That's how they say Brahmashraya. That is, Brahmashraya means it is the Maya which has an ashraya, which has its being. Ashraya does not mean it is providing some kind of a support. Like, the table provides support for my books. And so books have an ashraya in table. No, they are not that way. The very being of the Maya is in, like the pot has an ashraya in the clay. That is how we have to understand. So, the Maya which has its ashraya in Brahman, that's how ashraya means a non-separate. Because non-separate, what is non-separate it has its being in that thing. So like the pot is non-separate from the clay, so I can say pot has a being in clay. The being of the clay is the being of the pot. Being means the existence. The very being of the clay itself is a being of the pot. That's all. Means pot is non-separate from the clay. If being is separate, pot has a being and clay also has a being. separate existence, then in that case, well, they would not say Brahmashraya. The very Ashraya indicates that. Anyway, this is how it is. And so the word Maya, of course, we have not introduced yesterday. But anyway, whatever it is, some cause is there. And that cause, of course, that cause, the definition of the cause is, I have given you, that which contains the effect in a potential form is called the cause. That's all it is. Anything, you can apply this definition to anything. That which contains the effect in potential form is called cause. Right? Therefore, you apply it to clay now. That which contains the part in potential form is called cause. That is clay. That which contains the ornaments in potential form is called cause, called gold. That's all. So this is how it is. So then it is, this is very simple. I mean, this creation which is manifest, well, when it was in a potential form, that's called cause. The ornaments which are manifest right now, and I see varieties of the ornaments like, all the bangles and other things, and a ring and everything, all differentiated now. Now I can see the differences between them. All these differentiated forms, manifest forms, have, when they were in a potential form, well, that is called the cause of the ornaments. What is that? Gold. That's gold. And therefore, so cause is always a potential name and form. So we call this cause, very first Namkaran Vidhi. Namkaran Vidhi is taking place now. So that is Avyaktam, right? Potential means Avyaktam. And therefore, basically, Avyaktam, and therefore it is like this, Avyaktam. Cause is called Avyaktam. And in the unmanifest form, there are no differences also, no differentiation. So Avyaktam is also called Avyakritam. Avyaktam is also called Avyakritam. So this is how we say that. So the Jagataha Karanam, the cause of the universe, is Avyaktam or Avyakritam. That's how we say. And then definitely that cause must undergo a modification. What modification? From potential, from unmanifest to manifest. That's a parinama. That's a parinama. So that cause must be parinami upadana karanam. Parinami karanam. First, upadana later. Parinami karanam. It modifies from unmanifest to manifest. Right? And therefore, only the potential names and forms will become manifest name and form, that is Jagat. And also, whatever the Avyaktam modifies into Vyaktam, and that is the Karanam. Now, that is also Upadana Karanam, which undergoes modification, which is cause, which I call it as a Vyaktam, etc., is not just modification. I have to add one more word, Upadana Karanam. Parinami Upadana Karanam. Why Upadana Karanam? Because Upadana Karanam only does this job. What? In which there is no change in the substance, only change in the states, from potential to manifest state. That's all. When there is avastha bhedah, karya karanayoho avastha bhedah, natu vastu bhedah. Karyam, effect, and the karanam, when only the states are different, one is unmanifest, other is manifest, but there is no difference in terms of the material, not in terms of the essence, not in terms of the the truth of it. Well, then definitely that is Upadana Karanam. Always Upadana Karanam is what? In which you won't find the change in the substance. You only find the change in the state. That's all. In the condition. So like, the clay, why we call Upadana Karanam? Because the part in unmanifest state, we call it as a cause. Part in manifest state, we call it as a creation or a karyam. And therefore, basically, it is just a change in the state. And therefore, clay is called parinami upadana karana, in which only difference in state from one form to the other form, from unmanifest to manifest, from potential to manifest, whatever. That's all. Therefore, upadana karanam is always like this. Upadana karanam means in which the karya karanayoho madhye, between the karya and karanam, there is no vastu bheda. Kintu avasthayam bheda. Only change in the condition, change in the state. So ultimately our cause, the cause of the universe is parinami upadana karanam. It is avyaktam, it is avyakritam, right? We have reached up to this. And always upadana karanam is called prakriti. I will explain later. So I am introducing a word, third word now for that. Prakriti. Prakriti means upadana karanam. That's all. And therefore, since we have established it is upadana karanam, then definitely this is, I can introduce it as a prakriti. So upadana karanam is called prakriti. And so between prakriti and its karyam, we call vikruti. Between them, there is no change in material, only avastha bheda. Universe is called vikruti and its cause is called prakriti. And it's called avyaktam. It's called avyakrita. This much is clear. And that prakriti is trigunatmika, and that's how I have given you the creation, all trigunatmika. Now, so this, so long, up to this, we and Sankhyas go together. Prakriti Prakriti only creates everything. Prakriti is trigunatmika, etc. Prakriti only modifies into different states. And therefore, but Swamiji, Prakriti modifies into different states, then you say Vastu Bheda is not there. But I find Vastu Bheda. There are Indriyas and these, and ultimately whatever you want to say, it is just a change of a state. Right now also it is Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunatmika. Whatever you see in the creation, we have not gone to the creation, but if you see that creation which I have given you, everything is basically either modifying sattva, either modifying rajoguna, either modifying tamoguna, right? It's that. So right now also it is sattva rajas tamogunatmika, whole creation. You can find that. Even you need not go anywhere. You can see in our mind itself. Sometimes sattva, sometimes rajoguna. So there is no difference in terms of material. Only change of the state. Change of the state. Earlier the whole thing was in an unmanifest form. Now it is manifest form. Anyway, so Prakriti Avyaktam or Avyakritam is the cause of the Jagat universe. And up to this, as I said, it is we and Sankhyas go together. Now the difference occurs now. And that difference is, 1 minute, somebody entered. Okay. So this Prakriti and Purusha are independent. That's what Sankhya says. Purusha means this Brahman. We say Prakriti has an ashraya in Brahman. Brahmashraya. So Prakriti is non-separate. Prakriti is not independent. That's what we say. Now we have to find actually this Prakriti is Brahmashraya. I am not using word Maya because we'll see that. So Prakriti is Brahmashraya. Prakriti is not independent. That is Vedanti's standpoint. Prakriti and Purusha or the Brahman are independent. They don't use word Brahman. They don't use. They say Purusha only. That is Chetanam. That they accept. And Prakriti is Jadam. That also they accept. But both are independent. Anyway, but we say Prakriti and Purusha, in which Prakriti is non-separate from the Purusha, called Brahman. And how you have arrived at that Prakriti is non-separate from Purusha? Suppose if they ask us, then no problem. We let's go to the three possibilities. If there is a relationship between Prakriti and Purusha, then we will find out that relation in these three terms. First is Prakriti should be totally identical with the Brahman, in which Prakriti and Brahman are one thing alone, totally identical. I mean, they are synonymous. Word Prakriti and Brahman are just synonymous words. Either you call Prakriti, either you call Brahman. That's the first possibility. Second possibility is Prakriti should be a part of Brahman. Amshamshi bhavaha. That is Vishishtadvaitin's point. And the third thing is Prakriti should be totally distinct from Brahman, independent. That's Sankhya's view. There are three possibilities. Now we have seen that Prakriti cannot be totally distinct from, first possibility we'll have to see, Prakriti should be totally identical with the Brahman. Means Prakriti and Brahman are one thing alone. They are not one, because Brahman is nirvikaram. That is how the Upanishad establishes. Brahman does not undergo any change. If it undergoes a change, it is not called Satyam. Satyam means, which can never be negated in the 3 periods of time. If something undergoes some kind of a modification, then the previous state is gone. So Brahman also modifies like that, then the previous state is gone. Then how it is called Satyam? Brahman cannot be called Satyam. If anything is Nirvikar, Brahman is Satyam, means it is Nirvikaram. Right? Brahman is Satyam, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Therefore Satyam must be which cannot be negated in any 3 periods of time. Then there should not be any kind of a change. And also Brahman is told Nirvikaram independently also in Upanishad. And therefore Brahman and Maya cannot be one thing, because Maya modifies. Right? We have seen Maya modifies. Previous state gone, potential state gone, and now manifest condition. Manifest state is also this Maya only is a manifest condition, is called universe. Now that again undergoes and goes back to the potential state. So it modifies like that. And right now also in the manifest condition also it continuously, that way from one state to other it is continuously modifying. So Maya is Savikaram and Brahman is Nirvikaram. Therefore they are not identical. They are not synonymous words. They are not identical. So that is the first thing. Now second thing. Prakriti, can the Prakriti is a part of Brahman or not? This is Vishishtadvaitin's view. Well, Prakriti is not a part of Brahman, because a change in a part, because Prakriti undergoes a change. So Prakriti is Savikaram. And any part is always non-separate from the whole. Pennsylvania state is non-separate from America. America is a whole country. State is a amsha, part. And part is always non-separate from the whole. When you say America, you will have to include Pennsylvania. Definitely, you cannot say, otherwise it becomes country if you cannot include. It's an independent thing. So part is always non-separate from the whole. Right? And therefore, Prakriti is a part of the Purusha, that is Brahman. Then Amsha of the Brahman. Then Prakriti modifies. Then a part modifies will affect the whole. Any part here modifies will affect the whole. And that's how even though I told you yesterday, even just at one place there is a headache. But if you ask, you can know. You need not ask. But you can know that there is some garbad. There is some problem this person has. So if we ask, we say, oh yeah, I have a problem. Hey, how you have a problem? You said your head has a problem. But as if his whole body has a problem. It looks like that. So anyway, so always Amsha has some problem that they refer it to with the Amshi also. Even in one state there are big floods. In India we say like that. Suppose here, I'm just giving example. Like here in a particular state let's call in Texas, suppose lots of floods because of rain. Then sitting in India I say, oh, America is facing a situation of great floods. America is not facing, Texas is facing. But nobody says that way. If I am in India, I will say, oh, America is having this, right now, this natural calamity. How can you say that? Because Amsha is always non-separate from the Amshi. And therefore, if even Amsha, Maya, Prakriti, Prakriti is Savikaram, then definitely it's a part of the Brahman, then Brahman also will be affected. And so we cannot call Brahman Nirvikaram. And therefore it cannot be Amsha also. Anyway, There are other arguments, but this is what in Brahma Sutra there are several arguments for this amsha amshi, and we have negated the Vishishtadvaitin's point. Anyway, then the third thing is if both are separate, both like Sankhyas, if both are separate, Prakriti is Savikaram and Purusha, that Brahman is Nirvikaram, Asanga, etc. Well, then if both are separate, both are independent, then definitely this Brahman is no more Brahman. We have to withdraw the word Brahman because any two things which are existent separately, both are limited. You cannot count number 2. You cannot count unless the boundary of 1 is over. Try to count number 2 without seeing the boundary of 1. Try. And take anything. No, Swamiji, I have counted 2 apples. You can count, but then once boundary is over, then you can count the second boundary of the second. If there is something which is boundless, you cannot count the second. So if both are independent, Prakriti and Purusha, Prakriti and Brahman both are independent, both are limited. Any two independent things will be limited. One limits the other limits the one. Always. Then Brahman is no more Brahman. Brahman means limitless. Then if limitless, then there is nothing other than that. There is nothing independent other than that. Well, and therefore Prakriti is independent, then definitely this Brahman is no more limitless. But in Upanishad it has been very clearly told, the Brahman is limitless, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And therefore this so-called Prakriti is not independent. Prakriti is not a part of Brahman. Prakriti is not identical to Brahman. Then what? Remove this Prakriti. What? This Prakriti itself is a problem. Remove the Prakriti. No, it's a Upadhi. Upadhi means it's a Upadhi. In Hindi and Gujarati, word Upadhi means a problem. So, Adi, Vyadhi, Upadhi. So, therefore, this Prakriti is creating a lot of headache in our mind in the morning itself. So, remove the Prakriti. See, that is how Upanishad does not mention at all. Upanishad says, Sadeva Somidam Agra Asit, Atmava Idamaiva Ekaragra Asit, Brahmava Idamagra Ekaiva Asit. Everywhere, nowhere says the Prakriti at all. Why you are bothered about Prakriti? Remove. Okay, let's remove Prakriti. Then from where this has come? From where your bhajia has, everything has come? From where it has come? What you eat, from where it has come all this? And your clothes and your body, from where? Oh, there must be a cause. Oh, but then Sat is there, no? Brahman is there, Brahman is he. Brahman is not the cause. We have established already. Brahman cannot be the Karanam. Any Karanam has to undergo a modification, at least in terms of state. Then Brahman has to modify at least from potential to manifest condition. Brahman is not a Karan, not Karya. अब क्या करेंगे? Now we have to accept Prakriti. But if we accept Prakriti, then this problem comes. Part of Brahman, independent of Brahman, or identical to Brahman? No, that also cannot be. So that is where Vedantin comes. Vedantins always enter, in a royal way. Still there. That's another possibility that they can't think of. Because the idea of that, the reality is so much conditioned in other systems of philosophy. And so this mithya, etc., they can't even think of, really. They can't think of. Anyway, so there is only one way. What? The degree of realities between Brahman and Prakriti are different. One is Satyam, another is Mithya. Right? Brahman is Satyam, Prakriti is Mithya. Then everything fits in very well. Prakriti can do job remaining in Brahman. Mithya means what? Borrowing existence. So like, even though there is one thing, I can count two. How? Like basically it's a clay, but still I can say pot and clay. Because see, what happens is, what the job a pot can do, a clay cannot do, right? What a job a pot can do, a clay cannot do. So I will have to count for pot at least. But then if I count for pot as an independent reality and clay another independent reality, then it doesn't fit. You cannot separate even clay and pot. Right? Am I right? And therefore, even though pot is non-separate from the clay, pot has a being in the clay, still pot is able to do some function. So pot is not non-existent. Pot is not independent, self-existent. Yet, pot has its own function, some kind of a reality, yet kinchit. That is borrowed existence, and that is called mithya. So Maya also becomes a cause, remaining non-separate from the Brahman. Maya has its being in Brahman, Brahmashraya, and that way Maya or Prakriti, I go in the Maya itself, but Prakriti, that way becomes the cause. And so everything fits in. Prakriti can do all the job remaining in Brahman. And Brahman is a higher order of a reality. It does not undergo modification. Well, it remains as a very ashraya, and Prakriti undergoes modification. And in this respect, we are different from Sankhya. Prakriti mithya, Brahman Purusha Satyam. Sankhya says Prakriti Satyam, Purusha Satyam. Well, we have negated that thing. So this is how, and since it is unreal, we call it as a Maya. Now I am defining everything. I have used word Prakriti. Why Prakriti you have used word? Prakarshena Kruti Yogyatvat Prakriti. Prakarshena Kruti Yogyatvat. Kruti means karyam, an effect. Prakarshena Kruti Yogyatvat. It is Prakriti means it is something which you can modify into various forms, which can be modified into various forms. Kruti Yogyatva, which is fit for converting into various forms, right? Like clay. Clay is something which is, we call it as a Prakarshena Kruti Yogyatva, which can very well be modified into various forms. Remaining clay, there is no change in substance, but still you can modify into various forms called pots and pans and jars and whatnot. So the clay is called Prakriti, means material cause. Prakriti is equal to material cause. Why word Prakriti? Because Prakarshena Kriti Yogyatvat. Prakriti. In grammar also, Prakriti and Pratyaya are there. And we add pratyaya to suffixes to the Prakriti, and various changes will come. And so, it's like, like gam dhatu is there. Then you add pratyaya, trush pratyaya. It's a suffix that is called pratyaya. And the gam is, that root is called Prakriti. And then Prakriti, in that you add some pratyaya, it turns to a new word we call Vikriti. Gantru. Gam plus trich. Gantru. Goar. It's like that. So gam means to go. But you add trich, it becomes Prakriti. So this is how. Prakriti is gam and Gantru is a Vikriti. That is how we use. Anyway, this is just this Prakriti word also is there because you can modify it into to make various forms. So from gum root I can make so many things. So many things. From gum you can make gachati. From gum you can make gamayati. From gum you can make gantru. From gum you can make jagama. Several things are there. So gum is called Prakriti because I can modify it into various things. Right? From root gum, I can make so many new words. Could you follow what I am saying? And so this is how gum is called Prakriti. Same way. Which is available for modification. Varieties of the modification. That is material cause ultimately in our case. Now why you call this why you call it as a Maya? Because from the standpoint of Brahman it is not there. because the the clay does not see the pot at all. Clay is not able to see pot because the pot has a very being in the clay. The being of the clay is the being of the pot. In that case, the clay doesn't see the pot. To see the pot, the pot has to be independent of the clay. But it is not. And therefore, even from the standpoint of this creation, karyam, you can call this Prakriti as it is there as a cause. It is a potential form. But from the standpoint of Brahman, you are not able to tell it because it has no independent being. So Maya means ya ma sa Maya. Ya ma. Ya means which? Ma, not there. Ma is a particle. It's used for negation. So ya ma sa Maya, which is really not there. Pot is really not there. Really not there. That's how it is. From whose standpoint? From clay standpoint. Right? Same way, this from the Brahman standpoint, which is really not there. Unreal. Mithya. Asat. Nasato vidyate bhavaha. Nabhavo vidyate satah. From the Sat standpoint, this is Asat. Right? From Brahman standpoint, it is Asat. And therefore it is not there. Really, it is not there. But Swamiji, still you are telling, but we don't find, it doesn't go in our head. Suppose, see, like you are sitting and there are 5 mirrors there in front of you. And in all the 5, there are 5 reflections of you. Then somebody says, will you take tea, Swamiji? Yes, why not? I will take. Then the person and me both know for clear, how many cups she will bring? Only 1. So even though there are 6 Swamis, but more than 1, all are not counted. Anything which is of a lower order of a reality, anything which has not an independent being, the being of this Swami is the being of the Swami in the mirror. In that case, we don't count 1 plus 5. We don't count. And so, from my standpoint, I alone is the reality, right? Same way from the Brahman standpoint, that is the reality. It doesn't count at all this Maya. It doesn't see. So from Brahman standpoint, it is not there. From my standpoint, there are no 5 Swamis other than me, right? And therefore, from Brahman standpoint, which is really not there, what? This cause is not there. So, ya ma sa Maya. Chalo, the third. Sometimes this Prakriti or a Maya is called avidya, right? Why avidya? Because it is in wake of knowledge, in wake of vidya, it doesn't remain. We deny the separate existence in wake of knowledge, and therefore it doesn't remain. So vidya virodhitvat avidya. That's all. In wake of knowledge, we denied the separate existence of this Maya. So it is called avidya also. So, but Swamiji, this also we are not able to understand. See, when we say everything is Brahman, that is the knowledge. Brahman is all pervasive. And therefore when we say everything is Brahman, now where is creation? Where is creation? If the manifest creation is not there, means then the potential also is really not there. Could you follow what I am saying? So basically, the creation, instead of a creation, the jnanam takes place that everything is ultimately Brahman, everything is nothing but the myself. Well, in that case, manifest, unmanifest, nothing remains. If you accept manifest, you will have to accept non-manifest also, that is Maya. And if you don't accept the manifest creation other than Brahman, the same way then you don't accept potential or the unmanifest creation also independent of Brahman. And therefore, basically, with the help of this knowledge, in wake of the Vidya means knowledge, well, we deny the separate existence of Maya. And so we call it as a avidya. Vidya virodhitvat. When the knowledge, takes place, when the vidya takes place, this doesn't remain. So vidya virodhitvat avidya. What does not remain? Maya does not remain. And then Sahaji, Maya is a universe doesn't go at all. Okay. This universe is there which is mithya. Okay, fine. That is the knowledge. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. No problem. If Jagat is mithya, then its previous condition unmanifest also is mithya. Okay? Okay, if you don't accept Maya is not there, I can't accept, no problem. So Maya cannot remain separate from Brahman in wake of your knowledge. Maya is mithya, Brahman is satyam. Because Jagat is satyam, Jagat is mithya. Anyway. So that is how, with the help of knowledge of Brahman, etc., with the help of this Vidya, it goes. Vidya Virodhi. Maya is Vidya Virodhi. That's called Avidya. There are other reasons also for telling it Avidya, but right now this much. Like Avidya also covers, ignorance covers, it's a avarana. It covers the nature of a thing. In the same way, Maya is though covers the nature of Brahman. But we don't want to go into that. This is simple, is enough. Okay, but everything you are talking about since 2 days about Maya, but have Upanishad talked about Brahma or Maya or not? Yeah. Upanishad has also talked about it. Mayam tu prakritim vidyat, Mainam tu maheshwaram. In Shvetar Upanishad, it has been very, very clearly told. Mayam tu prakritim vidyat. This Maya alone is the material cause. Prakriti. Maya alone, that very clearly told. Mayam tu prakritim. Maya is the material cause of this entire creation. Mainam tu maheshwaram. And one who possesses Maya is called Mai. Mayavi. Mainam. Mainam tu maheshwaram. This Brahman, well, we call it as a Mai. Because it possesses Maya, we call it as a Maheshwara. Or it is Ishvara. Anyway, and Bhagavad Gita very clearly says this. Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya. Bhagavan has very clearly told, Daivi Hesha Gunamayi, Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya. This is my Maya. This is Gunamayi. Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunatmika. Daivi. Well, it is Daivi because it belongs to me. Therefore it is Daivi. I am the Devaha and that belongs to me. That's my power. And definitely it is Daivi power. So Vidyaranya also gives here, in the Panchadashi, in that second chapter, Vidyaranya says, Nistatva Karyagamya. Second chapter, 47th verse. Nistatva Karyagamya Asya Shaktihi Maya Agni Shaktivat Nahi Shaktihi Kvachit Kaichit Buddhyate Karyatah Pura. Now I have to explain you this. Vidyaranya says the existence of Maya can be proved with the help of one pramanam called Arthapatti Pramanam. Presumption. You can presume the existence of Maya. Maya cannot be seen. Maya cannot be seen. Cause, the creation, the cause of the universe is very subtle. Because here in the universe itself, there are so many subtle things which we are not able to see. and therefore the cause must be subtler than that. And in that case, Maya, nobody can see the Maya. And therefore, only thing is you can presume it. You can infer. But instead of inference, we call Arthapatti Pramana. Because here, Arthapatti Pramana is what? Anyatha Anupapattihi Arthapattihi. Sometimes they call it Arthatapattihi Arthapattihi. Or Anyatha Anupapattihi. I will give you first example before I will explain that. See, in night, suppose rain has fallen. But here, as in United States, all the windows and doors and everything closed. And you don't know at all that rain has fallen. But when you get up in the morning, you see the roads wet. Now there are several possibilities. When the roads are wet, suppose the trucks might have gone, the water tankers might have gone, and then water must have spilled over, and that's how roads have become wet. Or somebody must have sprinkled waters or whatever. Then also it is possible. Or the rain might have come. Several possibilities. But you see that even the buildings, etc. also, the trees also are wet. Therefore, you have discarded all other possibilities of water tanker and other things, or sprinkling of water by the people, etc. You discard it, and you arrive at this particular conclusion that the rain must have fallen in the night. So what you do, in your mind, if rains would not have fallen, then the roads would not have been wet. But the roads are wet, and therefore the rain must have fallen. This is called Arthapatti. Anyatha Anupapattihi. Otherwise it would not be possible. That kind of problem. So, if rain would not have fallen, the roads would not have been wet. But roads are wet, and therefore the rain must have been fallen. So existence of the rain during night has been arrived at by this particular pramanam, means of knowledge, called Arthapatti. Right? Arthapatti. In this pandemic it is very clear. I don't want to go into that. But it is very clear. Like how they find the difference between a flu and this COVID-19. They will have to do Arthapatti. If it would have been flu, then these symptoms would have been there. But these symptoms are not there. Therefore, there is no flu in this person. But there are these symptoms, and therefore this COVID is there, etc. So this is how they do. All the doctors, all our pilots, all our scientists, all are using this particular pramanam very well. Because something they see, and it brings several possibilities in connection. Several possibilities. Right? Like, my weight is increasing. This is a standard example. This is Vedantis take out from the pocket. They have this example all the time for Arthapatti. Devadattaha pino bhavati. Pino means bulky. Devadattaha pino bhavati. But this Devadatta is not eating during day. I see. He doesn't go near to the refrigerator, and therefore he is not eating anything. Neither he enters in the kitchen, neither in his room there are no dibbas of the breakfast, all the fried things and all. I don't see during day he is eating. Then how the weight is increasing? He must be eating in the night. When we go to sleep, he must be coming with a little, like a cat, coming to the kitchen and must be eating. So weight would not increase. See this now. Weight would not increase if the person doesn't eat in the night. But weight is increasing. Weight is increasing like leaps and bounds. Every week 5 kg. And therefore he must be eating in the night. This is Arthapatti. You will have to negate, once you see something, some effect, there are several possibilities arising. You negate the possibilities and arrive at a particular conclusion. So it is more than inference. Please understand this. Inference means simple, one step, simple connection, one connection. Right, smoke on the hillock. Okay, fire is there. Clear. When you see the smoke, there are no more many possibilities. You see an effect called the smoke in the on the hillock. Not many possibilities are arising, only one possibility. That is the presence of fire. So inference and presumption are in different things. Please understand. Anumanam and Arthapatti are different things. And both these means of knowledge are available to the human being. Anyway, so this is also, our existence of a Maya. If it is not available pratyaksham, but we can arrive the existence of Maya through Arthapatti, like I have arrived the existence of a rain in the night through Arthapatti. Right? Same we can arrive. And that is how, if Maya would not have been there, if material cause would not have been there, if Prakriti would not have been there, if cause would not have been there, the effect would not be there. But effect is there, universe is there, Jagat is there, therefore the cause must have been there. Right? This is how we arrive at. So this manifest creation is there, and therefore it must have been, the unmanifest state must have been there, which we call it as a cause. I have given you, please remember this definition of the cause, that which contains the effect in potential form is called the cause. So, Vidyaranya Swami says here, Karyanugamya. So, now we'll go into the verse. Before that, I will finish one more thing. What is the difference between Mithya and Maya? What is the difference between Mithya and Maya? Well, Maya is a entity, which is Trigunatmika, which is entity which manifests into the creation, form of creation. It is not a Shunyam, I'm going to discuss about it also. From Shunyam nothing can come. Of course I have told you yesterday. And therefore, if it is not Shunyam, it is an entity, some entity, whatever it may be. We are going to arrive at what is the nature of Maya. But Maya is an entity. Mithya is a state of a reality of that Maya. Mithya is the name of the status in terms of reality of that entity called Maya. We call it as a Mithya. Pujya Swamiji calls it as a ontological status in terms of a reality. When you talk about any word which talks about the status in terms of reality, it is called ontological term, ontological status. And so Mithya, Satyam, all this does not indicate any entity. It talks about its reality. That's all. Mithya indicates in the status of reality of Maya. So Maya is an entity, Trigunatmika. Mithya is its status in terms of reality. And so Maya is Mithya, and automatically I need not have to tell if Maya is a Mithya, well, Prapancha, creation is Mithya. Because ultimately that is what was potentially there, right now also it is there. Right? It is in manifest condition. Maya is Mithya, then Prapancha is what? Mithya. Prapancha means the creation. Jagat is Mithya. Because it's not a change, only in terms of state it is different. Avastha only is different. So this creation which was in unmanifest condition called Maya. Now you say Maya is Mithya. Right? And then means unmanifest names and forms are Mithya. Then manifest will be what? Mithya. It will be Mithya. And therefore, Prapancha also is Mithya. So, Karyagamya, Nistatva. Nistatva means Mithya, but we will see this in little detail. Anyway, And but why do you call that it cannot be? Why do you call this Maya is inferred or presumed? Let's say why? Any Shakti can never be seen. Any Shakti can never be seen. All the time, Shakti is inferred from the Karyam. Now we are going into this. Any Shakti is inferred from the Karyam. Like, before I speak anything, whether I have a Vaktrutva Shakti, speaking power, Vak Shakti, is there or not, how will you know? Suppose if I don't speak. Now you cannot assume, because you are seeing me since many days speaking, and therefore, but I am saying you, suppose a new person comes and he doesn't talk at all, he just listens. Whether he has a Vak Shakti or not, speaking power or not, how will you know? You are seeing a person. Are you able to see his speaking power? No. But when he starts speaking, okay. So when it manifests into Karyam, when it manifests is called Karyam. So when the Shakti manifests into the Karyam, then you can assume, you can infer the power. Shakti can never be Pratyaksham. The effect of the Shakti is a Pratyaksham, right? Karyam is Pratyaksham, but its Shakti cannot be Pratyaksham. And for that, anything. Person has a, Gana Shakti and Chalana Shakti, Gana Shakti, singing power. You never know. That's how it is happening. Sometimes person comes and, we just talk and everything. And then, till then we don't know. But somebody says, Swamiji, he sings beautifully. You please tell him or her to sing. She sings or he sings very beautifully. Then when she starts singing, she has so much singing power. Right? And that is how person comes and he has a potential singing power. It's a potential. But I am not able to see that power. Power is always potential. Shakti is a potential form. And therefore I am not able to see that. When it starts singing, when the Shakti transforms into an effect from the singing, which is called Karyam, effect, I can assume that he or she has a singing power. Person is a person, but now the person is called singer from the standpoint of its power, singing power. Same Brahman, one entity, but from the Maya standpoint, he is called creator, sustainer. Now another name, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, etc. Rudra or Ishvara as such. Now why Swamiji Brahman is called Ishvara? From the standpoint of a Shakti, Maya. It is called like. Same one person, Mr. Subramanian, now he is called singer. So when the effect comes out, then we can assume the power. And the possessor of power. Well, that's the second point. But up to this, that we'll find out what is the relationship between possessor and possessed, etc. So, Vidyaranya Swami says here in this verse, Karyataha pura shaktihi na buddhyate. Karyataha pura. Before the karyam, the manifestation of the karyam, before the function, a shakti cannot be known. Nobody can see. Similarly, Brahma Shakti called Maya, can be inferred from Karyam, from the universe. It cannot be seen like that. So, Prapancha Karyat, Prapancha Rupi Karyat. Prapancha, this creation, universe is a creation which is called Karyam. Well, from that we can assume the power, Brahma Shakti. Anumiyate, or it can be inferred. It is never available. Any Shakti is always non-separate from the conscious being. And you only when it manifests, you can assume it is there. Otherwise, you will not. And therefore, Maya is also not a pratyaksham. It can be assumed. And gives a beautiful example. Agni Shakti Vat, Vidyaranya Swami says, like the power of fire, burning power, which is called burning power. How will you know it, fire has a burning power? From Daha Karyam. When it burns something, you will know that fire has a burning power. You cannot see fire as, but you don't see the burning power. You see the fire. You don't see the burning power of the fire. But if it burns something, it may be burning your hand or it may be burning something else, right? Then you can know that it has a burning power. So the burning power, which is non-separate from the fire, you will come to know its existence of burning power. You come to know through what? When it burns something. That's its effect. Through that it can be known. So Daha Karyam, from Daha Karyam, Daha Shakti Anumiyate, it is inferred. Because Daha Shakti is not visible to sense organ. So this is how it is. So one thing we have completed, Karya Gamya. Actually, Vidyaranya Swami says, Nistatva Karya Gamya Asya Shakti, Asya Brahmanaha, Sataha Shakti, Maya. The Shakti of the Sat or Brahman is this Maya. And what kind of a Shakti it is? Nistatva, which doesn't have any tattvam, doesn't have any truth. That we will have to arrive at. The Mithyatvam, etc. But the other thing about Maya is told is Karya Gamya. From the Karyam it is Gamya. Gamya means Anuman. From Karya it can be inferred Agni Shakti Vat, like Agni Shakti. Nahi Shakti hi kvachit kaishchit buddhyate karyatah pura. Before the Karyam, before the effect comes into the being, well, Shakti hi kaishchit, the Shakti can never be na buddhyate, Shakti can never be known. Unless it transforms into effect, unless it's modified into effect, you will never know. And therefore, the universe, which is nothing but this modification, right, from that Shakti, Maya, then from that universe, we will be able to know the existence of Maya. This is enough for today. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.